So, folks, another one of those days you come in on a Monday and you anticipate talking about one thing, and then over 50 people get murdered and 400 more just mowed down by what appears to be an automatic weapon from the 23rd floor of a hotel. It's at Mandalay Bay. A guy checked in on Thursday of last week. We're not sure exactly, or as of the time that we went on air, we're not sure of exactly what weapons he had, but it was at least 10 assault weapons, or 10 weapons, we should say. At least one of them appears to be, if not an automatic weapon, then a semi-automatic weapon that's been modified in some fashion. And he, on the fourth or fifth day of his stay, decides to smash out a couple of the windows in his hotel room by firing at them, I assume, and sprays gunfire for about 45 minutes to an hour, it appears, into this crowd of nearly 20,000 people. And finally, police were able to bust into his room. They were able to determine which room he was firing from once in the hotel, because the fire alarm, smoke detector in his room, was apparently going off because of all the smoke that was coming off of the weapons he was firing. I guess by the time they got there, he had killed himself. And like I say, as of half hour ago, at least 50 people dead. And there will be zero legislative response to this. Let's not kid ourselves. There will be zero legislative response to this that would in any way inhibit something like this from happening in the future. And there will be all sorts of reasons. It'll be, well, he got this gun illegally anyways, or the gun that he used, even though he had the other 9 guns legally, was gotten illegally, or he modded it illegally, or whatever it is. There's going to be some excuse. You don't know the difference between an AR-15 and some other semi-automatic weapon, so we don't need to have gun control here in this country. There'll be some utterly BS excuse as to why we can't do anything. And there's one reason. There is one reason why we can't. Is because the NRA owns the Republican Party. Lock, stock, and barrel. Period. There is no other reason. There is no other reason. And they need to, the NRA, which is basically just a lobbyist for an industry, need to help their arms dealers make more money. And the fact of their market is the number of people buying guns has been shrinking. And so during the Obama years, they made a ton of money by convincing people that Barack Obama, not people, convincing gun owners that Barack Obama was coming for your guns. And so they sold these gun owners more and more guns. But unfortunately, once Donald Trump gets elected, they can't sell more guns. So what they're doing now is trying to figure out what accessories can we sell to gun owners. And we'll talk about that in a moment, because there's two pieces of legislation that had to be put off when Steve Scalise was shot in a mass shooting event. I guess it's they define it by having 3 people shot. They had to put it off. They were gonna try and pass it when but then Steve Scalise got shot, so they had to punt to this week, and they'll punt again, hoping that next time they can thread the needle in between national attention-getting mass shootings. Because the number of mass shootings we've had in this country is something like 275 out of the last 270 days. In fact, here we are talking at noon on Monday, 11 hours after Eastern Time, 11 hours after the mass shooting in Vegas, and that's not even the most recent mass shooting. 5 people were shot in downtown Lawrence, Massachusetts last night, 3 dead. And that happened a half an hour after the Vegas one. So, nothing. I hate to be a spoiler alert here. Hate to ruin the suspense, but all of the completely disingenuous hearts and prayers that are sent out, love and prayers, or whatever that shit is that the politicians say, instead of, oh, we're going to do something about this. Completely meaningless. Means nothing. And here is the actual reality. The actual reality of these things is, it's surprising it doesn't happen more often. And I don't care what your concern is as to the impetus of these things. If it's white nationalism, if it's you're concerned about people watching ISIS videos, whether you're concerned about bullying or mental illness or wealth inequality that drives people crazy, whatever it is, the bottom line is we are enabling these impulses by allowing people to have more and more weapons and of greater sophistication. Period. That's it. Maybe this guy, if he did not have access to these weapons, would have smashed a window in that hotel and thrown knives down on the audience. Maybe he would have sat there with a bow and arrow. But the fact of the matter is, he would not be able to kill over 50 people. He would not be able to injure over 400 people.
Hi, folks. Sam Seder here. We still need your help on our Patreon page. YouTube ads have come back, but not nearly as much as we had before. So if you can help us out, any little bit helps. Head over to our Patreon page right at this URL, and you'll help us keep helping you by making videos